Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe. This is JSPCs. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the Legion Go S. So very, very similar to the last video, the OXP Mini Pro. We're going to go over the same benchmark, same everything. This time, no rules. I spoke quite a lot. Tried not to waste a bunch of time, but wanted to go over, how the series was going to work. So yeah, Legion Go S. This is the Z1 Extreme version, so the higher end of the two Legion Go S models. I then put Windows on it so that we can run these anti-cheat games. Yeah, let me show you the eGPU setup similar to last video, and then we'll hop into those benchmarks. All right, here is the eGPU. So we have the 9070 XT here. We are hooked up with Thunderbolt 4. I wish it was Thunderbolt 5. It's an older device. Nothing new has got Thunderbolt 5 yet in the handheld space. That'll be great when we get it. But again, Thunderbolt 4, really easy to just plug and play. Not having any issues with that whatsoever. And yeah, I mean, really, really simple stuff. Just graphics card and a Thunderbolt 4 cable, and she works. So yeah, uh, let me know if you have any questions or maybe even recommendations for an eGPU. But this setup running flawless so far. Here we are on CS2, and I've run into some technical issues, but I believe they're fixed now. So we're looking at around 175 FPS here on Counter-Strike 2, and overall it's been really solid. I mean, 82 on the 1% low it's not fantastic, but it's definitely not bad. And we're seeing overall some pretty good performance here. Like, this is, I want to say, around 30 to 40 FPS better on average compared to the Mini Pro. So yeah, overall this is really, really, really nice. I would honestly, even at this frame rate, I'm not seeing really any issues, or even stuttering. So let's turn on fluid motion frames and see what kind of FPS we can get here. The 2x frame gen essentially, and right now in spawn we're looking at 320 to 360, or maybe 370 it looks like. Again, as we get closer, into the map, we're gonna see some slightly lower FPS. However, this is still, very solid. I've lost the ability to spray. It's been too long since I've played this game. And yeah, I mean, 300 FPS on average here is pretty incredible. So yeah, this is short. I mean, I will say you're not getting the highest, or I guess the lowest latency, but I don't really feel a difference. I would say I'm pretty used to playing games like this, so I feel like if it was that bad, I would feel it. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty great. So I would recommend, honestly, if you have a really high refresh rate monitor like I do, I would recommend the little boost here with frame gen. I mean, you're starting at a base of 150, so it's really not going to hurt that bad. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the next benchmark. Here we are in Valorant. Let me go ahead and just select some guns here. We'll go Sheriff, and then Spectre, and then Vandal. So in the CS2 benchmark, I know it's already over, whatever. I made the mistake of not showing my video settings. So I was on 1440p 144 hertz, similar to Valorant, with basically all low settings. Again, similar to how we are set up here on Valorant, and feeling pretty good about it, honestly. It's been pretty decent FPS so far. Afterburner for some reason is broken right now with Valorant, at least how I have it set up. So I'm getting slightly, I'm not getting all the information I would be normally on other games, but that's okay. It really feels like we're sitting somewhere as I'm shooting here around 130 FPS, which is pretty solid here, and I'm very, very happy with that. So let's go ahead and once I die here, I'm sure it won't take long. Yeah, there we go. I want to try and do fluid motion frames. And that is going to put us at, here we go, now it's starting to balance out since it's on 250 FPS, it looks like. And the longer it's been on, this is really smooth. So for some reason, I'm not really too sure why. We have lower FPS than on CS2. And normally, you would have way more FPS on Valorant than Counter-Strike. So I'm not 100% certain what's causing that, but still, we're sitting at around 250. So I have really no complaints here. This is very solid. Yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the Apex Legends benchmark as I die right here. Cool. All right, here we are on Apex Legends, and wow, I'm getting shot at. So we're looking at around 180 FPS. This is what I would consider at least to be very, very solid. Hopefully I don't get seen as I try to work my way over here for frame testing. They did go up on the hill, and it seems to be that I'm stuck. But yeah, so 180 FPS here. Overall, this is really solid, and I am going to die. Almost killed him. But yeah, 180 FPS. I would say pretty decent. I wouldn't really have any complaints with it. 43 FPS you can see in the top right. For some reason, the AMD software does not like me being over 60 FPS. I am definitely not. It does not feel like 60 whatsoever. But if I turn fluid motion frames on for 2x frame gen, I instantly get hard capped at 60 FPS, and it's trying to push me back to 60 on the display, but the game's at like 200. It's really weird. I'm not sure what it is. I assume it has something to do with Apex itself, just having some issue with the frame gen. But I did not show it just mainly because of that. I also died, but it's not even worth showing. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the next benchmark. All right, here we are in Rainbow Six Siege. Quick little settings check here. So we're going to be looking at 1440p, 144, basically all low settings. I'll go ahead and reset the FPS again. And so far, 150 FPS or so is not too bad. This is respectable, I would say. Oh, come back here. Ah, he's gone. Yeah, 150 FPS is pretty solid. I'm overall really happy with this, actually. Definitely not incredible. I think depending on where you are in the map and what map you're on, it'll probably change some. Let me go ahead and turn on fluid motion frames and back out of that. We are looking at up here on the right side around 300 FPS, which is really nice. And my goodness, okay, we're already dead. Yeah, so definitely not too bad. I would say it's definitely playable. Starting at a base of around 140. The last round I played, actually, we were sitting closer to almost 200. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I mean, I guess so far on this round, it's been a lot closer to that 144 mark, which is still good. I mean, if that's the refresh rate that we're going to be getting, really not too bad at all. Thorn is going crazy. Yep, so that's a pretty good test on Rainbow. Overall, really happy with that. I'll go ahead and hop into the next one. Alright, here we are in Rocket League, and we are looking at, so far, 160 FPS, which feels weird. Considering I was getting around 260s with the Mini Pro and the 6800U, this just does not seem right. I am really not sure why it's so low. I mean, my GPU is at 100%. I just feel like I should be getting way more here. I am going to, out of curiosity, I guess turn fluid motion frames on. And this looks nice. Definitely a little bit of input delay, more noticeable on controller than it is on mouse and keyboard, at least in my opinion. But it's definitely a better experience. I do like the, higher refresh rate when actually on a high refresh rate monitor, if you can get it. So I would say it's not too bad, and definitely something you would get used to over time. But yeah, just a little bit of extra latency is not going to kill you. It's okay. Really disappointed with the FPS here. I'm not exactly sure why it's this low. Like I said, 6800U, I feel like would come out with a lower number, but here we are, 150 FPS average. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into Trackmania. Here we are on Trackmania, and one thing I wanted to bring to your attention pretty early is this game, similar to the results I was getting in Apex. Fluid motion frames has this looking really frame skippy for me. Again, like I have fluid motion frames on, and apparently we're getting capped at like 70 FPS. So I'm not exactly sure what is causing that. Let's go ahead and turn it off, because this is where we're actually gonna get some really nice gameplay here. It may have looked okay on the capture card, but yeah, I mean, we're looking and feeling really good at about 110 FPS on average. This is very, very, very playable, and I think you'll have a really good time on Trackmania with this little Legion Go S eGPU combo. So let's go ahead and hop into the next one. All right, here we are in Marvel Rivals. Sorry. Looks like we're getting about 200 FPS here. Currently, we are on FSR3. We do have frame gen FSR4 on. I would assume that's not doing anything for us, actually. There, at least that would be my thought, considering the performance we've been getting on other games. I am not 100% positive on that, though. I am going to give it just a second, and then we're going to go turn on AFMF. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and hop in the corner. And oh, we do have FSR frame gen on. Okay. So that makes some sense. We are doubled up on frame gen right now, actually. Um, I believe, actually, it may not be doubled up anymore. I think AFMF actually overrides FSR frame gen. And if that is the case, then we are sitting around 260 with AFMF, my goodness, which is about what I was hoping for anyways. So, yeah, well, it looks like we're sitting around 300 FPS, and it's smooth as can be. I mean, this is actually, I mean, this is pretty great. So, I have no complaints here. Let's go ahead and hop into the next one. Here we are in Escape from Tarkov, and we are on. If I can get my settings up here, we are on 1440. We have, I believe, no FPS cap, and the 144 should be. We're not going to hit it anyways, but we could try. And then we do have the streets optimization on, so relatively more basic settings, and we're getting, I mean, almost 50 FPS. This is really nice, actually. Um, Especially for streets, that means we're probably going to be looking at somewhere around 80. Well, maybe not 80, but somewhere around 60 to 70 FPS on maybe something like customs, which is, pretty solid, actually. Let's go ahead and turn on fluid motion frames. So we're going to drop down a little bit and then double. And it is, I'll say, not fantastic. It takes a lot out of the CPU to run this game in general. It's a very, very CPU demanding game. The stuttering looks way worse for me than it does for you. I mean, you could get by. I don't think anything I would recommend. I think I would rather just play at around 50 FPS base and then not really have to worry about the, added latency alongside the extra framiness that we were getting there. This is, I mean, 50 FPS. It's Tarkov. It's hard to get good FPS anyways. So 50 is not great, but I mean, this is definitely, you want to get some scavs in, or especially if you're not, that experienced in Tarkov. This is enough to play the game at least. So overall, I am fairly happy with actually how this is turning out. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. So after going over the benchmarks here on the Legion Go S, and obviously the 9070 XT through Thunderbolt 4, honestly, for the most part, I'm really happy with the performance. Like, this is something that, more so than the Mini Pro, this is something that I would almost consider to be potentially a desktop replacement. Being able to push up to around 300 FPS with FrameGen makes this a really, really good choice. Obviously, we're going to lose a little bit of, input latency. Honestly, that's fine. Especially, more so, I didn't even really notice it. There were a few titles that were a bit strange. Apex, I guess I didn't get rid of the cap correctly. So FrameGen was a little bit strange there. However, it played around 200 FPS anyways, so who really cares? And then on Trackmania, we had an issue with the FrameGen yet again. I'm not exactly sure what caused that one. I raised the FPS cap to 300, so again, strange. But the Rocket League was the most confusing. The Mini Pro from last video, was around almost 300 FPS. So this only being at about 150, I'd have to do some technical little deep dive into what actually was causing that inside of the CPU. I mean, we were running at 30 watts here on this device, so yeah, I'm not exactly too sure what really was going on there, but overall, this is something that genuinely I would consider to be a desktop replacement. Which is crazy to say because it's not, it's not a Strix Halo device or anything, but with a really good eGPU, I mean, unless you're doing content creation, I don't really see a reason to have a, dedicated gaming PC. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.